Hey, everybody. Happy Tuesday afternoon. I'm Steve. I'm a therapist, and I'm sitting here in a Starbucks. And I'm doing my weekly live stream, Ask a Therapist. Let's talk about a variety of therapy topics. All right. And I've got my trusty notepad with my things that I'll bring up here, my little legal pad. And if you have a question, you can ask in the chat section or in the reply section afterwards. All right. Questions about therapy or how to make the most of therapy or how to find a therapist or whatever. All right. If it's a reasonable question and you're not trolling me, I'll probably answer you. All right. And I bring up the trolling thing because I have good boundaries, which might be a topic to discuss. Boundaries. But all right. So it's Tuesday. I worked in the morning and I've had the afternoon and evening off. Tuesdays is an easy day for me. And I'm sipping, got this raspberry drink, whatever this is, sparkling water. I've been a therapist for 20 plus years. I've lost track now. 22. Greatest job ever, in my opinion. Greatest job. There are disadvantages, though, too. Totally can agree to disadvantages as well. So, oh, by the way, hey, if you're an aspiring therapist, or let's say you're in college, you're getting your bachelor's, you're considering getting your master's, there's a lot I can tell you. There's so many things I wish they would have told me in graduate school when I was getting my master's. That could be a whole nother topic. But anyway, let's just talk about therapy. And actually put in the little title thing, I put the little cowboy emoji. And then I put the turquoise emoji as well. The turquoise heart. For some reason, the turquoise heart keeps gravitating towards me. It's a heart. And then I don't know what it is about blue or turquoise. But right now I'm into it. So there you go. All right. By the way, the main entrance is right there. Okay, here's the Starbucks. Hold on. Here we go. There's the Starbucks. All the people working. There's not too many people in here. There's just a few. I'm kind of I'm a little secluded, so all right. Well, I'm gonna bring up a topic. All right. Let's see. Here's a big topic. Don't give up. It's as simple as that. Do not give up. And let me elaborate. Recently, I had somebody ask me. He was asking me about trauma. He was going through all these. He was like saying, hey, I've been reading up on trauma. I read The Body Keeps Score. He's not a therapist. And he was talking to me like I'm an expert on trauma, which I'm not. I know a bunch, but I'm still learning. And he kind of said like, somehow we got on the topic of like, what's the main ingredient that a client needs? What's the main quality that you've seen in people that have kind of grown through and worked through trauma, achieved healing? I really had to think about it for a little bit. And then it really kind of hit me. The ones who are successful, as crazy as it sounds, they just don't quit. They don't quit. They keep showing up to therapy. They just keep saying like, hey, I'm going to just keep showing up. I'm going to keep talking about it. I'm going to try something new. I'm going to just keep knocking at the door. The therapists, the clients who get the most is when they don't give up. I'm telling you. So I know it sounds crazy. And like there are like specific techniques and maybe like paths or journeys, healing journey. I'm using therapy lingo right now, but it's like there might be a course of action or something specific to work on that might be kind of common for a lot of people or kind of healing from trauma. But I still think the top thing is like, don't quit. Don't quit. I'm telling you, I've had clients where it's like they have their breakthrough 1 year into therapy. Sometimes it's like year 2, 2.5. They have multiple breakthroughs, but it's like they have their big breakthrough at like the 2-year mark. I have too many clients that see me for like 2 or 3 weeks, maybe they get a little bit of relief and they really were vibing well. I know they're enjoying therapy, but I think like sometimes my clients are like, okay, I'm just going to save my money, or they blow out for whatever reason. Some of my clients will go for like 1 month or 2 months. You can achieve a lot in 1 to 2 months if you're really working hard. And it is true. Some of my clients only need to talk to me for 4 to 6 weeks. It's totally fine, totally understandable. All right. But when it comes to like the big stuff, especially healing from trauma, the main thing is that attitude of I'm not quitting. And so I'm going to see my therapist. Even if you stop seeing a therapist, it's like you're still reading books, you're still researching. That's the other thing too. By the way, like listen to your therapist, especially if they're an expert on something. But in this day and age, in the year 2026, if you're struggling with anxiety or post-traumatic stress or some kind of unique addiction or mental health issue, you absolutely can research on your own, just with Google and AI tools. And there's so many books. There's no reason why you can't become like an expert in the very issue that you're working on. Don't just listen to your therapist. It's the same way I feel the same way about when you see a doctor, and if you hurt your knee or some part of your body, a lot of the time you can research a whole lot about the part of the body where you're hurting. So anyway, that's my main thing is like, don't quit. And I do understand the principle about, I don't want people in therapy just to be in therapy. And I guess in some respects, if nobody quit and everybody just kept seeing me, I guess financially I would benefit as a therapist because I do this for a living. But it's not even about that. All I know is it's like, you got to have that attitude of like, I'm going to stick with this. I'm going to just keep talking to my therapist about this. I like my therapist. I'm going to just keep talking about it. Even if you don't like your therapist, fire your therapist. Go find another one. And just keep working on it. Keep talking about it. Keep learning. Keep looking at yourself with curiosity, an emotional curiosity about yourself. So anyway, that's the top thing, is that absolute, I'm not quitting. I'm just going to keep at this. I'm going to keep talking to my therapist. Even if you cut it down. Like right now, I see my therapist like every 3 weeks. I don't see her every week because it's a little redundant by now. I've been working with her for 4 years, But it's like, you just got to keep at it. Keep at it. So that's all. That's hey, it says there's 2 people watching. Hello to all 2 people watching. I'm just some therapist in Colorado, just some dude with a kind of a beat up cowboy hat. And I live in Westcliff, Colorado. It's like roughly 1 hour southwest of Pueblo. I see all my clients by video. Okay, I work out of my home, and I do accept insurance. I have a cash rate, and I love doing the telehealth. Totally believe in it. If you want to see someone in person, I understand that. But if you don't, and you just want to work from the convenience of your home, save gas, you don't have to drive across town or that kind of thing. Or if you really like me and you're like, oh, I want to work with Steve, you don't have to drive to Westcliff to some office. You got to drive 125 miles. That's silly, right? So anyway, and the other thing too about telehealth, I'm just kind of bouncing around from topic to topic. Let's say you live in a rural area or just a small town, maybe a small city where there's just a few therapists. Maybe you don't want them knowing your business. It's just there's a little bit of sensitivity. I just live in rural Colorado, so I'm just you know, you can feel good about just knowing, okay, I'm just seeing some guy who lives on the other side of the state, and so that's like another benefit of telehealth. You live in a rural area, and either there's no resources, or the few resources that you have, you don't want to see them. So do the telehealth. So that's all. Therapy by video. All right, I've talked a bunch, and it still says one person's watching. Hello, I just want to say you're welcome to comment. Here, I'm just gonna go on here. You're welcome to comment. Just a reminder, you got a question, or I'm starting to make videos like talking to camera, and then I've been doing shorts. The shorts are really fun. Um, Hold on. Here we go. Here we go. There we go. Okay. I'm just doing some things on the side here. Anyway, any comments about any of the videos? And I have to admit, talking about not quitting, I keep talking about this. I am not quitting. In general, I don't quit at anything. And it's like, I want to encourage you definitely with like those therapeutic issues, those things in your life where it's like you feel resigned, like you got to just deal with it, or live with it, and it kind of breaks your heart. Keep at it. Keep at it. All right. I put any and all therapy topics. Woo hoo. That's so goofy. But it's so my style. It's so my style. All right. Hello to all two people watching. I kind of consider this my office hours. You know, like it's just my office hours. You know, so if you want to like catch me, if you want to catch me where you don't have to pay me, because like I do have an hourly rate and you pay for my time. So now it's like, hey, I'm for free. I'm just on YouTube. Let's talk about stuff. When was the last time you've seen a therapist? And was it helpful? How often did you see that therapist? Was it just a one-time thing? Was it weekly? Was it individual therapy? Was it couples therapy? Was it family therapy? How old are you, by the way? Sometimes I have adults that come to me and they're like, I only did therapy when I was like 10 years old. And, it's like a family therapy kind of thing. My parents were getting divorced, something like that. I'm like, okay, that's at least something, but that's not individual therapy. And like, if you're not, if you've never seen a therapist as an adult, that's another factor too. So anyway, just saying. Raspberry lime. Here's a broad topic. Are you willing to look at the root causes of some of your challenges in your life? Especially if it's related to like you've got mental health type symptoms like depression, anxiety, um, sleep troubles, relationship challenges. There's so many things, but like, are you willing to look at the root cause? You know, be brave, be brave, be honest with yourself. You know what I mean? What are the root causes? Sometimes I get clients and it's like, I don't know how to explain it, but they just want a superficial little thing, like depression. It's like, I don't know. I'm trying to think. Depression might be a harder one. Anxiety's one, or anger management's another. Where, like with anxiety, it's like, okay, well, do yoga and you know meditate. Count to 50 when you're feeling anxious. I'm actually not against any of those. And I've known people where they absolutely have benefited from yoga as an example. I've benefited from yoga, but it's like we're looking at the root cause because if we're not, isn't it kind of like mowing a lawn with a lawnmower, just mowing grass? You're just trimming the grass, but you're definitely not getting at the root. The grass is just going to grow right back up again. I'm always thinking about that. It's like, what's like the heart of the issue here? What's the root cause? And then that usually leads into, if you can identify the root cause, how do you feel about it? What's your self-esteem like? Your self-worth? Usually, when we're in the midst of struggle, the struggle itself is hard enough. Life just has a way of kicking our asses. But then it's like, and then what does that do to your self-worth and how you feel about yourself as a man or a woman? And then you feel like a failure, maybe. I always have clients where it's like, especially men in their 40s and 50s, there's this feeling of like imposter syndrome, and I'm supposed to have my act together, and I'm supposed to be everything. I'm supposed to provide for my family and be a good parent and save for retirement, all this stuff, all these American cultural things. It's like often we just feel like not good enough, So you got a case of the not good enoughs. So did I talk? I think I don't know if I ever talked about that. The not good enoughs, not smart enough, not brilliant enough, not working hard enough, not far enough in my career, not making enough money, not attractive enough, not thin enough. You name it, the not good enoughs. Not good enough. You just fill it in, and it's like not good enough. Not enough this, not enough that, and we just feel like we're on this little, almost like this little hamster wheel. We're just kind of trapped, trying to prove our worth through our efforts, or our performance, or our achievements, and it always feels like not good enough. We compare ourselves to some perfect person, some person on Facebook that's looks so wonderful on the outside. We just compare ourselves to them. We convince ourselves, I am not good enough. Don't be that way. A good therapist can help you with that. I'd like to think I could help you too. But you got to be willing to like say, wait a minute, am I agreeing to things, insulting my core, my soul? Anyway, because if your self-worth is rooted in your performance, you're always going to be set up for disappointment. I know Brene Brown talks about just saying, I am enough. I am enough. It's not about not good enough, not this enough, not smart enough. I didn't do enough work over the weekend. I didn't do this. Not a good enough parent. It's I am enough. Your identity is you are enough. Very different way of looking at things. And it always surprises me because I usually have I always have a few clients who just say they're wrestling with the concept with me, and they're like, I've never thought about it that way. Like, that's so foreign. That is such a foreign concept. They're so used to striving and for their worth, when worth is like something you're just born with. You think of a baby. A baby can't perform anything or do anything. A baby's just totally dependent on their parents, to survive. You look at that baby, and we don't say, hey, you're not good enough. You're not thin enough. You're not working hard enough. You need to show that you're worthy, blah, blah, blah. No, we just say, hey, we love you because you're you. It's like a birthright. You know, our worth has to come from who we are, not what we do. Our worth comes from who we are, not what we do. So that's all. I've had 3 people watching. I have nobody commenting, but I'll preach this. I try not to preach. I had a client yesterday where I just I usually do a ton of listening. One of my clients, good guy, I had to just talk to him and say, look, this is how it is. I explained. And I was like, I'm sorry, did I lecture you? He said, no, you're fine. You're fine. I actually liked it. So therapists can be insecure too, by the way. Yeah, that's one thing too, by the way, just a little inside thing. Therapists can struggle with overthinking. They can get insecure. Okay. Therapists can be wrong sometimes, or I don't know. So there you go. Good times. Hey, I've got some quotes. I have some inspiring quotes. If you're just tuning in, you're welcome to say hi. Just check in with your location or any kind of question or comment related to therapy. All right, I'm an LPC in Colorado for over 20 years. Let's see here. Where's my ooh, here's a good one. I have 3 quotes. You'll never feel ready because ready isn't a feeling. It's a decision. You'll never feel ready because it's not a feeling, it's a decision. Wait a minute, one more time. You'll never feel ready. So if there's some big decision, some big thing that you know in your heart you need to do, I just want to encourage you, there's never like a perfect time to do that big courageous thing. You know what I mean? You may never be completely ready. You just have to go for it. I always think of like the hero's journey in all these movies or TV shows where the main character is going to be the hero that saves the world, something like that. And usually there's an element of the hero is just like pulled into the adventure without them even wanting to go down that route. You know what I mean? They weren't even ready. They didn't have time to be like, hold on a second, let me take care of this and this and this. And as soon as I have this much money in my bank account, then I can go on my hero's event. No, it's never like that. Usually it's like, these are dire times and we urgently need a hero, that kind of thing. That's at least what I think about. So anyway, you'll never feel ready because ready isn't a feeling. It's a decision. So maybe it's just something to think about. It's a decision. I'm ready. I like that. Ooh. All right, one more quote. Hold on. Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild, precious life? Mary Oliver. Mary Oliver. Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? That excites me. That motivates me. Really think about it. Think about it. Like the biggest risk is not, it's like doing nothing. That's the biggest risk. It challenges me. I've done a lot in my life, but I am in this place where I'm kind of like, I don't know. I'm challenging myself about, should I be doing something different? A lot of things differently. different paradigms. I need to take the paradigms of my life and just smash them to pieces, you know? Anyway. All right, one more. Oh, this is related to what I said earlier. I want to see what happens if I don't give up. I want to see what happens if I don't give up. Don't give up. Just keep working at it. I even tell my clients sometimes, I'm like, you know, especially for those where it's like they're just practicing the art, the skill of sharing, talking about themselves, identifying feelings, and identifying the things that matter in their life or that sort of bother that hurt their soul, or it bothers them, it troubles them, all that kind of stuff. It's like, I even just tell my clients, it's like, it's okay to just come to therapy and just talk about your favorite movie for 10, 15 minutes, or sports. Just tell me about sports. Just tell me about something that you're super passionate and opinionated about. You know, like your LA Dodgers or some movie. Just go off on it. You know what I mean? Get yourself talking. Right? We don't always have to just talk about your problem. You know, and then it becomes like your identity is like, I got this problem, I gotta solve it. You know. But make no mistake, we can always talk about it. So there's just one thought I have on that. So, all three people, have you seen a therapist lately? Was it helpful to you? I'll even answer that question for myself. I saw my therapist, Natalie, last week. Saw my therapist last week. It was kind of funny. We do it by video, and I actually didn't do the greatest job at. I wasn't sure what I wanted to talk about. But the thing about the session was I had like a game plan about what I'm not going to explain it well, but I had done all this work leading up to the session. But then once I got to the session, I was like, I had a little bit of a deer in the headlights kind of thing. But eventually I came around and was like, all right, here's what I worked on. Here's how I'm doing. By the way, I should probably talk about this too for just 5 minutes, 10 minutes. So, you know, a good therapist, you want to, like, a good therapist will cultivate curiosity into your life. They'll be really interested and curious about your life. Dare I say, even more curious than even you are. Although ideally, you should start developing that curiosity and looking at yourself and saying, hey, why am I this way? What's my story? All those kind of like, what are the deeper root causes here? Or what are my motivations here? All right. I'm always interested trying to encourage my clients to tell their story. They're usually, if I've gotten to know a client for some time, maybe whatever, it depends, but usually on average after about 2 months, and there's a little bit of a natural break where they're like, okay, what should we talk about now? That's usually a good time that I bring up, why don't you tell me your story? Tell me your story. Everyone has a story. I'm a big Better Call Saul fan. Huge Better Call Saul fan. I did a live stream wearing my Better Call Saul shirt. Like, that was like one show. It was the story of Jimmy McGill. And it was just talking about his life, how he became Saul Goodman, right? Or anyway, there's so many movies, TV shows where it's like, what's this person's story? And you slowly learn more and more about that person and why they are the way they are, their personality, some aspect. And so in the same way with my clients, it's like, I want to hear your story. Pretend your life is like a movie, and in chronological order, tell the story of your life. What were your earliest memories? What was your childhood like? What was your mom like? What was your dad like? Did you have siblings? What was hard about your childhood? What was good about it? What's one great memory that you had? What were things that you had to overcome? What was middle school like? What were your teenage years like? Tell me about all your struggles during your teen years. And don't BS me and say, oh, everything was fine. When you're a teenager, you struggle. It's a hard time for everybody, right? Tell me about your early 20s. Tell me about your relationship with your parents, when you're a teenager, when you're in your 20s. Tell me the story of, what you learned, your biggest mistakes, into your 30s, into your 40s, however old you are. You know what I mean? Tell the story. Give detail. And try to see if there's themes related to your self-image and your self-worth. And, there's a lot to say here. I'm getting all fired up in the Starbucks. So the idea of telling your story. So it's a big deal. And like the other thing I was thinking about is, I don't know how other people are, but nobody ever asks me about my childhood or what was this like? What was that like? What were you like as a teenager? Nobody ever asks. It's rare. I hate to say it. Maybe, I don't know. I kind of want to hear from you. But do you have people that show curiosity about your younger years and what was your life like 10 years ago? What was it like 15 years ago? What did you have to overcome? What were you like as a teenager? All that kind of stuff. So telling your story. We all have a story. By the way, it's I think it's called narrative therapy. Kind of incorporates your story. Narrative therapy. So there you go. I remember this was like 5 or 6 years ago. I was seeing a therapist, and it was like I kind of was going to tell my story, and I started my story by telling the story of my father. I was told the story of my dad, or at least aspects of my father, right? Because to kind of paint the picture of my dad, and kind of man he was, and he was a good man, you know. But some of his struggles and strengths and weaknesses, it kind of set the stage for when I was born. And sometimes even telling the story is like you almost have to take a little sidestep and be like, let me tell you a little bit of a story about my dad. I'll tell you this story about my siblings, you know. So or whatever, your mother, your uncle. That's it's good to talk about. It's fun to talk about. Oh my gosh, I've gone for 33 minutes. 33 minutes. 33 minutes. Let me see. We get a swig. We get a swig. Oh, I got a napkin here. Pretty Starbucksy napkin. Actually, it's pretty basic. Snacks, tea, coffee. There you go. All right, last topic. All right, first of all, just want to reiterate if you're just tuning in, you're welcome to ask questions or therapy topics, or I'll put timestamps on some of the topics I've rambled about. But the last topic I want to talk about is I really respect people who do 12-step addiction recovery programs like Alcoholics Anonymous, AA, or NA, or there's 12-step groups for almost every addiction. Then there's Al-Anon, which is like spouses, partners, friends of alcoholics. I totally respect people who go through the 12-step program and do the steps, and they do a fearless moral inventory, which is step 4, and then step 5, they share that inventory with another person, and they go down the list, and they're going to all these groups. My clients that are in a recovery program, they've got a lot of depth. They're constantly engaging with material that challenges them on a deep, like root cause level. They're being challenged to transform. They're not just trying to like stop a behavior or like an addictive behavior. It's much more about transforming their lives. And then like I love the step 12. Step 12 is okay, having benefited from this recovery program. Now I'm going to give to others. I'm going to focus on giving. And when people live a life of service, that's how they help themselves. It's how they stay out of darkness, stay out of their own, out of their own way, is to serve others. It's beautiful, and I see it. Anyway, if you're in a recovery program, any kind of 12-step program, and you've really worked the steps, and you've sat through meetings and listened, sometimes you took a risk and shared, I've got a lot of respect for you, a lot of respect. And, I really do enjoy working with people where they've done 12-step work, they're still working it, and, so more power to you. All right. Just a little thing there. All right. I'm going to finish this drink. It says there's 3 people watching. I got a couple of likes. That's wonderful. You're always welcome to like or subscribe. I try not to be one of those people where I watch those videos where it's like they're constantly begging for a subscription. I always just feel like, I'll subscribe if you're really like, I don't need you to tell me to subscribe. Your content is so good that it's like, I know I can't miss it. Then I'll subscribe to you. You know what I mean? But anyway, how about just a like? Just give me a like. Remember, your value, my value, doesn't come from how good this live stream is, performative type stuff, how much money I make. You know what I mean? Our value comes from who we are, not what we do. So there you go. There you go. All right, I'm going to stop here. I've gone for 38 minutes. All right, I'm going to hit the heart button a few times here. And, all right, all my love. Till next time. Hey, best wishes with if you're working with a therapist. I wish you courage and bravery. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. I swear to God, it's like the top characteristic for my clients who really succeed is they just don't give up. They keep showing up, keep at it, keep knocking on the door. I'm just gonna read this book. I'm gonna research. I'm gonna, just keep talking to Steve. Right? So all my love. Really, thank you for watching. All right, signing off. Take care. Bye.